Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry that we're late today. We had a Board of Estimate and Apportionment meeting that started at 2 o'clock, and we just got off of it a couple of minutes ago. So, here to give you an update, I've got a couple of, I think some newsy items here. I'm going to start first with number of cases in the city, 1,714. That is, there were 23 new cases. Do you have that? Did you send that to me? Hang on. 23, I think, is the right number, new cases.
23.
Yesterday. Let me look here. And what you can see this on our city's website, of course, but you can see that we've had a low number of new cases for a number of days here. And I'm on my phone and I can't quite pull it up, but you guys can look at that. So only 23 new cases yesterday in the city of St. Louis. St. Louis County has 4,410. State of Missouri has 11,232. From the task force, the pandemic task force, the number of people currently hospitalized is down 19 people from yesterday at 436. The number of people on ventilators is down to 69. Yesterday it was 70. And 34 people were discharged yesterday. So total number of people discharged now is almost 2,000, 1,958. So at least at this point, we are continuing a downward trajectory on the cases and on hospitalizations, on people on ventilators. So that is very good news, of course. Now, couple of things. And we just finished talking with Dr. Eccles about these things. Summer camps, meaning summer day camps. Let me back up and say that you all know that child care facilities, that's 5 or 6 years and younger, those were able to open on Monday, this past Monday, with following many, many guidelines on social distancing, on disinfection, on masks and all that sort of thing, following the CDC guidelines. So the big questions that many parents have had is, what about summer camps? So what I'm talking about here today is day camps, not sleepover camps, day camps. Summer camps are going to be able to open in the city of St. Louis on June 1st, only if the guidelines and the protocols from the CDC and the American Camp Association are put in place. So the director, our director, Will Pinkney, he was on one of these posts before, has been in constant communication with the child care providers and other leaders within youth activities and summer camps. Of course, everybody has been wanting to know, what about summer camps, especially if you are going back to work. So it does not mean that all the summer camps will open, because they won't all be prepared by June 1st, but some of them will be prepared by that point in time and will be able to follow the CDC and the American Camp Association guidelines. Those guidelines, by the way, just came out, I think, last night. Yesterday, sometime yesterday. So everybody has been waiting on those, because we want to make sure that kids have productive things to do this summer, and also, though, that the kids can be safe, and of course the folks who work there. Our city-operated rec centers are not opening right now because we're not prepared to. We haven't hired the people or that sort of thing, so they are not opening right now, but we're working quickly to figure out what the city rec centers are going to do. So contact your summer camps. There are a few main components of the summer camp safety and operating include smaller camp sizes. Campers will likely camps will limit the number of kids that can be accepted at camp this year, so that the groups can be smaller to ensure social distancing. No field trips for right now. No overnight camps. Pick up and drop off will look different, and I know for parents this is always how you drop your kid off to summer camp and pick them back up. They all have to That'll accommodate the screenings, health screenings, and social distancing, and of course, lots of cleaning and sanitizing protocols. So that's just a quick overview that summer camps will be able to open smaller than usual, lots of precautions in place. But I know that'll be good news for some folks. The second thing here is on June 1st, some pools will also be able to open. So we previously, a couple of weeks ago, we said no pools. Now, again, the CDC has just issued these guidelines, which include a lot of cleaning and disinfection. And, so apartment complexes have been wondering, can our pool open? Our condo complexes, can our pool open? Yes, they can. Pools can open. You've got to post signs about how to stop the spread of COVID. You've got to properly clean. If there's a pool chair, you've got to clean it between people. Use face coverings in highly visible locations, like if you're sitting on the pool deck, and obviously not while you're swimming. So that's another good thing in the recreation area. Now, I know some of you are going to ask me about gyms. If has anybody asked me already? I'm getting, yes. Somebody's already asked me about gyms. Yeah. We're still working on gyms, but I want to roll these things out to you as we're able to get them. And so today, summer camps guidance and pool guidance. And at this point, we don't believe, and I say at this point, we don't believe city pools, outdoor pools will likely open this summer, partly because we don't have any lifeguards hired. So we'll be looking to see what we can do there. And I know pools are important, and sooner or later it's going to warm up. Apparently it's going to be later. So we're working through that. Gyms, we're still working through gyms. What else? Large venues. We did issue, I'm not sure if it's up yet, large venue guidance. There's a whole lot of restrictions and guidance on large venues. We do expect that they'll be able to open I'll call it the second week of June 8th, 9th, 10th, in that time frame there. You may have seen today, we have reviewed the zoo's protocols, and I believe they're opening to the public on the 13th. So we're working through all of this with the caveat that we still have to socially distance, we have to wear masks, we have to wash our hands, and we will continue to watch both the number of cases and, most importantly, the number of people who get admitted to the hospital or who are in the hospital and who are on ICUs, because if we see a big increase in that, then some of these things will get pulled back. So it really all depends on our behavior. So that's the news that I've got for today. Questions?
A couple follow-ups. So you talked about gyms, and the question we already got about gyms from Melanie Mayer.
Hi, Melanie.
About privately owned fitness centers, such as like a boutique gym that might be located in a business or in an apartment condo complex.
Right now, gyms are still closed, Melanie. We're working through these things. We'll get to gyms quickly, and I know those of you that go to gyms and work out a lot want us to do that right away, and we're working through that. Gyms are particularly tricky with regard to cleaning and that sort of thing. So we did summer camps, we did pools. We'll move on to gyms here.
Two follow-up questions about the large-scale venues. You talked about the zoo, Mayor. We have a viewer asking about Botanical Garden and a viewer asking about Cardinals baseball.
Well, Botanical Garden, we expect that they'll be able to open that same week as the zoo. They do. I believe we have seen their plans. I know we've seen their plans. I'm not sure if they're completely approved yet, but we're working very quickly in trying to review the plans of these institutions. So they may not all open on the same day. They'll all be able to open at approximately the same time. So Cardinal baseball, Not yet. We don't have a plan for that yet. I know that they are planning to do some games in July with no fans there, but for TV. And I believe they're working that out with players and that sort of thing now. So that's a little bit more complex.
Two people asking about dance studios and whether that sort of falls into the gym category. I don't know if we know.
Dance studios. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm putting that on the list.
We can find
It
out.
falls, to me, it falls into the gym category, although it also sort of falls into yoga studios, you know. So I don't know the answer to that. It's going on the list.
Stephanie's question is, what were the specific guidelines that allowed churches to reopen? Are there specific occupancy numbers that churches have to follow?
So churches were allowed to reopen 2 days ago on Monday, and they have to do social distancing in a major way. So, for example, maybe every other pew, and one family or people who live within the same household can sit on one end of the bench, and if it's 6 feet away, somebody else can, I shouldn't say bench, pew, can sit on the other end of the pew. And that would be an every other row sort of thing, making sure people can socially distance, making sure there's no, hugs or shaking hands like sometimes you do during a church service, and that sort of thing. So they are able to open under those guidelines, CDC guidelines.
Lauren's question is sort of interesting. She's wondering if the social distancing is really going to be around, or the new normal, until such time as we have a vaccine.
You know, Lauren, I think it is going, is social distancing going to be around until we have a vaccine? Right now, I anticipate that it is. And for me, it's hard. It's hard to do. I'm not one of those people who needs a lot of space around me. So I tend to be kind of a close-up person, but I think that's going to be around for a while. And of course, we got to wear our masks, which I've got mine right here. I take it off to talk to you guys. I look kind of, I don't know. This is one of them. But, we're wearing them here in our office, and I hope you all are wearing them too. I also hope that you guys saw the little video that we put out on, was it yesterday or Monday? And it was a group of people that were all wearing their masks saying, I wear a mask for my family, or I wear a mask for my friends. If you didn't, go back on either Twitter or Facebook and just go down a few posts and you'll see it, because John Goodman is in that little video. Allison Mace, who is the publisher of Sauce Magazine, is there. One of our city marshals is there. Gentleman Mike, who is one of our refuse drivers, is there, and he has a big personality. You're going to like that one. Who else is in that, Jacob? Those four.
You're in it.
Oh, I'm in it, yes. Somebody else. It's escaping me right now. But go look at it. If you're inclined. Now, I know that even mentioning this is going to get me probably a lot more hateful comments on that post, since there's already a lot of them there. But if you're inclined, share it, repost it, and we think a couple more of those little, 20, 30-second vignettes coming of people wearing masks.
I'm trying to think of who the other person is. I can't. David's question.
Oh, a bus driver.
That's right.
Mr. Wooten, one of the bi-state bus drivers, is also in that.
David's question is about the roads and the parks that have been closed, and he kind of thinks it might be a good idea to make more streets permanently closed so people, walkers, bikers, runners, just have more room.
I like that idea. I know that in Forest Park, for example, when some of the institutions reopen, we probably will open some streets there that are currently closed. Maybe we'll be able to close others. But I do like the idea of giving way more to walkers, runners, bikers than cars. And I do live pretty near Forest Park, and I sometimes I do cut through the park, especially if I'm going south, but I really think, you know, my car should go around. It should go on Kings Highway or Skinker or, but, so anyway, I like the idea. It's one that, you know, we're gonna work through here. The other thing that you all probably know is that yesterday we issued guidance on and an application process for business associations or neighborhoods who have restaurants in a group who may want to close parts of a street, or who to get more seating, more dining there on the street, or who may want to take a few spaces in the parking lot that might be adjacent to them to be able to put more tables there. It's better to be outside than it is inside with regard to spreading COVID. Now, this cannot turn into a street party. Your tables still have to be 6 feet apart, but it does give the restaurant and give you more opportunity for dining. So yesterday we put the application out there online and on social media. I know we've gotten a few. I don't know how many applications we've gotten yet. We're working through them as quickly as possible. We ask that that the folks applying consult their alderperson, and the reason for that is that that alderman or alderwoman knows that neighborhood and that business community presumably a lot better than Room 200 knows them, because they are very close to that group. So we're asking you to work with your alderman so that we can have some expanded outdoor dining opportunities.
So a couple of follow-up questions. You talk about large venues. People are asking if that then applies to places like banquet centers, meeting halls, conference rooms, places that you might have a wedding with a lot of guests.
It applies to those locations, but it does not apply to the lot of guests question. They're supposed to be opening at 25% capacity when they do open. So that's, and different seating arrangements. There won't be, you know, a round table like you might normally have at a wedding with 8 or 10 people around it. That's not okay. The seating will be totally different. There won't be a dance floor there. So it will look considerably different. For, you know, sometimes it might be a business meeting, sometimes it might be a wedding, or, you know, some other sort of party. But it will look different, and, you know, if a place normally holds 200 people, well, it can only hold 50. That'd be 25%. So you get the drift here.
Question about how the city is doing on contact tracing, how important the role is for reopening, and are we hiring more people?
So the city's doing well on contact tracing, despite what you might hear or read. We have a number of people doing contact tracing. We also use a program called Qualtrics. Some of you might yesterday have seen the Board of Aldermen had a hearing. It was at 1 o'clock. You can still find it online. It's on YouTube under Board of Aldermen. Where Franda Thomas, who is our, I should know Franda's title. She's the chief
disease investigator.
Thank you, chief disease investigator for the city of St. Louis, and she's been with us for a while. She's really terrific, knows her stuff. She tried to explain all that to this committee of the Board of Aldermen yesterday. We do expect that we're going to hire some more contact tracers and bring them on, because as we begin to open here, we expect to have some more cases. Now, one of the things we're watching very closely, though, are cases in nursing homes. Those nursing homes, everyone there is quarantined if there's been as many as 2 cases in a nursing home. And so they are reporting on those folks. So it's a big deal when we have a positive case. What we have to do is isolate that person who's positive. Don't go anywhere. Got to stay home. Got to stay away from other people in your household in a pretty extreme way. And that we can contact everybody that they have had a significant interaction with. That means 10 minutes within 6 feet, not wearing a mask. So if you've had lunch at the table with somebody and you were within 6 feet, and of course you were there longer than 10 minutes and you weren't wearing a mask, that's a significant contact. And the other people that were at that table will be quarantined for 14 days since that meeting, whenever that meeting was, or lunch, whatever. So yes.
A few questions about DMVs. I
Mhm.
think they're open elsewhere, but I think people are specifically interested in the one
Yeah.
here at City Hall.
So I just spoke with Collector of Revenue Greg Daly today, and we are expecting that the DMV in City Hall will open on June 1st. That's a Monday. It will look different than what you've seen before. We are still really strongly encouraging people to renew online, do everything that you can online. They are, they have an, I guess it's an app. When you come to City Hall and you come into the front desk, you'll be asked for your name and your cell phone number and what you want to do. You want to renew your license or whatever it is. Then you'll be asked to wait in your car and we'll call you so that we don't have a whole lot of people milling around in City Hall and maybe not socially distancing. So they're going to be using that. They're going to be using every other window sort of thing in order to keep people safe. And of course, there are plexi screens in order to keep you safe and to keep the workers safe. So it will open June 1st. If you can do it online, please do it online. And everybody whose license plate, or driver's license for that matter, everybody whose license expired in April or May has 60 more days to renew their license. So plates all expire, I think, on the last day of the month, so May 31st. So you would have 2 more months. Now, if your plate expires in June, it's my understanding that the state law requires you to go ahead and renew your plate during June. So just a little bit of confusion there, but it's as a result of the state order, not our DMV.
A few questions asking about, and this speaks to the broader closure of the playgrounds, athletic courts, but people are asking about tennis courts and particularly golf in our Forest Park.
So we're still talking about that. But non-contact sports, and that would include both tennis and golf, I think most of us would agree, are allowed to open, or the courts are allowed to open. Course. And, but it'll have to be with social distancing and a lot of cleaning of carts, probably only one person per cart, or better yet, carrier clubs. So I don't know the date that the golf courses in Forest Park will open, but we'll bring that to you the next time.
So 3 days in, a question from Robbie Mayer. Businesses allowed to open. Do you think they're following the orders well enough? Anyone checking in, stopping in to make sure that they're following all of the guidelines?
Yes, there are people, particularly restaurants, have food inspectors that are in and out of there all the time, so they are checking. People also are letting us know, as you know. Got a little noise out here. There we go. And so yes, we are checking in on those restaurants. Now, this is the 3rd day. People are going slow, which is exactly what we've asked them to do. Not all businesses are open yet. That's good. Not everybody's comfortable yet going to a restaurant, and that's good or shopping. People that are older, people that have underlying health conditions, really should think long and hard about whether or not they're going to expand their circle of exposure. Sorry.
Oh, was that it?
That was it.
Okay.
I think most people are doing pretty well. It's only day 3.
I think we've answered this, but casinos, right? The governor said June 1st. Some people are asking about that.
Casinos get to open on June 1st by order of the State Gaming Commission.
A follow-up question from Devin related to contact tracing. Apple and Google released
So, excuse me, it's interesting. We've been hearing about that. I haven't seen it firsthand, but it definitely would be something we're interested in.
few more minutes for questions. Ebony's question is, are there consequences for those who don't follow the guidelines we've set forth?
Yes. Businesses are at risk for their business license, or they're at risk for their liquor license. You know, that's not our first choice. Our first choice is to visit with them and get them into compliance. And most people are gonna do that, but sure, there'll be consequences if they don't.
I think I'm running out of questions, Mayor.
Oh.
Oh, we have a
Okay.
question from Lisa, and you've addressed this, but Lisa's question is face masks in public, and why isn't that mandatory?
Face masks in public. For me, it is mandatory, but we don't have the face mask police. I would say this: if you are around someone who doesn't have on a face mask, steer clear. Especially if they're coughing like I am today. Steer clear of them. We don't want to put these businesses, or you, frankly, or our police, in the position of having to enforce that. Very volatile, as you know, and it's for your safety and for the safety of other people to wear a mask.
Last question for today. Michelle's question is, so if the DMV at City Hall is set to open on June 1st, does that mean all the other offices and other services will then be available at City Hall on June 1st?
It does. We're expecting to open City Hall to visitors on June 1st. Don't everybody show up at once. There'll be a wait. Do what you can online. We still expect to keep the drop-off boxes that are in the Tucker side, that entrance where the Circle Drive is at City Hall. But yes, we do expect other offices to open.
Okay,
Okay?
we have to get going.
Thank you all. I'm sorry we were so late today. Couldn't be helped. I'm glad I got to tell you about pools and summer camps, and about the good numbers from today, meaning not an increase in, not a big increase in cases or hospitalizations. That's really, really important. So thank you all. Keep doing what you're doing. Follow the guidelines. Appreciate you. We'll talk with you later. Thanks. Bye.